The internationally known legendary trumpeter, composer, and anti-apartheid activist Hugh Masekela has died at the age of 78 in South Africa. Masekela, who is known as the father of South African jazz, passed away on Tuesday in Johannesburg after a protracted battle with prostate cancer. During Masekela's 5-decade career, partly spent in exile, he scored a global #1 hit in 1968 with a breezy tune, Grazing in the Grass. South African President Jacob Zuma praised Masekela in a statement on Tuesday, saying he kept the torch of freedom alive through his music and that his contribution to the struggle for liberation will never be forgotten. Now, for more on the legacy of Hugh Masekela, Tinyiko Moluleka is a political historian at the University of Pretoria, joins me via phone from South Africa. Good evening, Professor Moluleka.
Good evening. It's a pleasure speaking to you.
Yes, thank you. Now, just from your perspective as a professor of political history, how will Hugh Masekela be remembered?
I think Hugh Masekela will be remembered as a cultural icon, as a jazz musician, as a political activist, as a cultural activist.
Yes. Now, as a man who spent a lot of his time out of the country, how did his music, his activism impact South Africa or the movement within South Africa itself?
Well, you know, although Hugh Masekela left the country and lived outside of it for a long time, there is a sense in which he never quite left the country because his music was available all through the years, including during the difficult years when many people like him were banned and not allowed to come back to the country. So he has always been around through his music. And my sense is that he will continue to be around through his music even after his death, especially because his music was really the music of South Africa, the music of Africa. And people will always connect with it, just like they have always done through his music and his contribution to the arts, especially the performing arts, including in drama, such as the play Sarafina, where he wrote part of the music.
So you also see his role, a kind of a dual role that he played in promoting overseas the music of South Africa, but through that music also having kind of a stage to advance the movement of fighting for freedom in South Africa.
Well, much of his music was political, in inverted commas, because he sang songs of freedom. The themes of his music had to do with the struggle against apartheid, the need for Mandela to be freed, the cultural struggle of the people of Africa as a whole and not just South Africa, the stories of migration within Africa and beyond, the African diaspora. All these were themes that can be found in his music, and in that sense, he was a lot more than a musician, really, and he stood in many African countries, and not just in one. He was an African citizen, but perhaps even more importantly, a global citizen.
Do you think it's ironic that perhaps he became more effective, more prominent, because he became exiled than if he was at home?
I think he would have been as influential had he stayed at home, but certainly when he went to exile, it gave him the opportunity to brush shoulders with some of the jazz greats. If you read his biography, you will see that there are very few big-name jazz musicians and big-name musicians in the world with whom he has not brushed shoulders. He has lived in many different countries, spoke many different languages. And for him, the world was home and music was language which he used to communicate across borders.
Within a historic context, where do you place him? We know South Africa had so many great activists who participated in the struggle in different forms. Where do you place Hugh Masekela?
Well, you know, I place him alongside the likes of Miriam Makeba, to whom he was married for some time. I place him alongside the likes of Jonas Wangwa, who wrote the music for Cry Freedom, that film about Steve Biko. I place him alongside the likes of Manu Dibango of Cameroon, the likes of Mapumo from Thomas Mapumo from Zimbabwe. And in some ways, I would like to place him alongside Fela Kuti, with whom he worked briefly in Nigeria. He is at that kind of level, continentally speaking. And of course, in terms of international jazz, you can name any great jazz musician who was alive when he lived in the USA, and you worked with all of them.
Indeed, what a great man he was, what a loss to the world. Professor Maluleke, I want to thank you very much for your thoughts.
Thank you.
Now, Tinyika Maluleke is a political historian at the University of Pretoria in South Africa.